Babymetal are back for a fourth new single from this brand new album coming out in 25 days as of recording this, August the 8th, Metal 4th. And this song is called Con with lots of exclamation marks featuring Bloodywood. I do not know who Bloodywood are. Let's have a quick look, shall we? Oh, I feel like I have seen these guys. I feel like I've seen a few things about Bloodywood. Let's have a quick look and see what a Bloodywood song sounds like, shall we? Okay, am I going to find a subgenre of metal I didn't realize how much I liked? We'll see. Okay. I love that they've still got the bang, like you can't get more stereotypical of like kind of Indian music mixed in with this kind of like really heavy stuff. That's hilarious. Here we go. Okay. Right, okay, well, I think I probably got what I needed to out of that. Okay, that's really good. I liked that a lot. I thought I'd heard of Bloodywood before, so this new song, Con is featuring them. So beforehand, we had, well, the very first one from this album was Ratatata, the Electric Callboy collaboration that came out, like, a while ago, like, long enough ago that I wasn't sure that was actually going to be attached to an album. I really like that song. I like Electric Callboy for the most part. Sometimes they get a little bit kind of cringy, and it is what it is, but Ratatata is a banger of a song. It's one of their better, Electric Callboy's better songs, and I also think it's one of Babymetal's better songs. I even had the privilege of seeing it live at Download, admittedly from the queue to go to the toilet, but I did see it. Then we had From Me to You with Poppy, which I also ended up really liking. That song was great. Poppy seems like a really interesting character across the board. I like the way that her sort of like screaming interacted with the band. That one's really good. I like that song a lot. And then we had song 3 with Slaughter to Prevail. That one, I'm not gonna lie, I did not save. I didn't like it too much. The video was fun. It was very charming. Got the girls like messing around with Alex Terrible, who I only figured out afterwards is the guy who does the like the demon voice in Ronald the Falling in Reverse song, which admittedly actually is also probably a bit too heavy for me. I like that song sort of through context, and also because Tech-9's verse in that is some of the best rap you'll hear, just full stop. That verse is so awesome. I feel like just Slaughter to Prevail are just too heavy for me, I'm sad to say. But anyway, we've got Con, which is interesting, because looking at the thing for this, it's a trend I've noticed recently with a lot of bands. They're releasing way more singles ahead of time, which I get. You've got to try and get the hype machine going and, you know, sort of like releasing music videos as and when. It's a really good way to get people interested in your music. But I feel like we are getting to the point where we're giving away maybe too much. Because we've now got the first 4 tracks for this album are now out, and we've still got a month. I wonder whether or not there'll be any more music videos or anything, or whether or not this is it for singles. But I always think that it's a smart idea to run your singles a little bit closer to release. So I guess we'll have to see on that one, because we've still got a couple of really cool collaborations. There's Polyphia, Tom Morello, and Spirit Box, all coming in there, mixed in with the other couple of songs. Only 3 tracks on this album, actually, that don't seem to have a featuring artist, which is cool. I actually really like that this Metal 4th album, they've done a lot of, like, reaching out, and some of these artists are more prolific than others. Like, I think Slaughter to Prevail probably don't need the Babymetal boost. Same with Tom Morello, or Polyphia, to be fair, but some of the other ones, like Poppy, and Electric Callboy, I think that they were being elevated by being on this album. So it's quite fun that they've done this sort of like very sort of reliant on guest artists sort of album. Let's jump in and have a listen to Con featuring Bloodywood. Gonna be another massively complicated dance now, isn't there? Oh, okay. So it looks like this is going to be a live video instead of a, like, sort of studio shot thing, which is, I mean, fair enough, because the previous videos have all been fairly high production, high budget, in-studio stuff, so, you know, not everything can be like that, which is completely fine. I'm assuming Bloodywood are going to come out on stage with them then, which is kind of cool. Oh, okay. Ooh. Is it me, or is this kind of like melodic approach somewhat new for them? I really like the way that her vocals come in there. I guess she's sort of trying to sort of sing in the style of the sort of like, well, Bloodywood, sort of like more traditional Indian singing with the kind of like, I wouldn't even know how you describe that, but kind of like ha ha, which is going into that. It's really nice. I really like that. It suits her voice nicely, and then you got the really quick chatter of the other girls, kind of like da 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 da. so far, that vocal melody is really, really interesting. I also think, well, I've been questioning for a while, like, with these collaborations specifically, how much of it is like the sort of the instrumentation rather than obviously the singing is them, but the instrumentation in terms of the guitars and the drums and all that. Like, as far as I'm aware, Babymetal is not just the three girls, right? It is the rest of the band, I think, at least. I know that the bassist died maybe a couple of years ago, so I don't know what they must have replaced him, I guess, but my point being, for these songs, who is playing the instruments? If you're featuring Bloodywood, you'd think they would be the ones doing the backing as well. And I think you can tell that, because I literally, just before I started recording this, I did listen through the other three again. And I don't know, their tones seemed quite consistent. And this one definitely feels like sort of more of a step in the other direction, which is a good thing, I think. The variation is interesting, but I'm sure maybe people in the comments will be able to tell me specifically who is sort of like playing what in these collaborations, how much of each band is being absorbed in. But yeah, no, so far, I really like the way that they're kind of falling into the style of the other band. Nice. I really like the way that the instrumentation is mixed quite quietly so far, but you've got, I'm gonna butcher what actual instrument it is. It's an Indian instrument. I don't know which one it is specifically. I'm not even gonna guess. But you've got the dunga 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 dunga, like a variation of that in the background here as well. It's kind of like almost doing a back and forth with their vocals, which is actually really interesting. I quite like the way that all kind of fits together and sounds as a unit. And again, I feel like the vocals are just being more experimental across the board, which is awesome. I really like that. Ah, there they are. So that's interesting. So on the stage, at least, in this video, you've just got, I'm assuming, the two vocalists from Bloodywood, which I also think when they were doing things like Ratatata live as well, they've just had the two vocalists from Electric Callboy turning up, which again really leads to the question, who's playing the instruments? I mean, live, it does seem like Babymetal now seem to mostly rely on backing tracks. Thinking about it, actually, I think they probably did download too, which is a shame, actually, because I feel like not having the actual instruments played, it doesn't need to be by the band. God, just teach your band to play their song, as long as they don't have, like, really crazy instrumentation that, you know, God, if they have a very specific Moog synth, for example, maybe then not. But generally speaking, I'd say it'd be nice to have the band actually playing the songs, but maybe that's just the limitation of specific venues and shows and so on and so forth, but this is just the one they happen to choose to film. But yeah, no, that is interesting. But that being said, I did really like that verse. I'm assuming we're about to pass into the other guy's verse soon, but he's got a really interesting vocal delivery, but I really like it. It's kind of like heavy metal Indian rapping almost, which is not a sentence I thought I would say very often, but I really like it. It's good. He's got a lot of vocal charisma and actually visual charisma too. These guys seem awesome. He's the screamy guy, I see. Ooh. Oh, there is so much going on at this point. Christ, that's amazing. The way that they moved into this, like, B section, B verse, maybe a bridge, I'm not sure. We're only halfway through the song, so maybe it's just a B section, where everything gets a lot more sort of, like, crowded. The backing's kind of, like, picked up with a few more instruments. I'm wondering whether or not, yeah, more of the Bloodywood guys is sort of, like, playing this backing vocals, and they're clearly not singing live, but maybe it's just the way that the vocal harmonies of the girls themselves are, like, tightened up. But this section's really, really cool. I also find it very entertaining watching the Bloodywood guys sort of like doing this sort of stage presence, and obviously you've got to dance a little bit, but just you're no competition. There is no point in even trying to stand up to the skill of being able to sing, perform, and dance that the girls from Babymetal have. That is very much their sweet spot, their skill. So you know, you just kind of like do your own thing. You kind of do a bit of metal stomping and put your hands in the air. But I don't know, I like the energy these guys are bringing. There's lots of smiles and I don't know, positivity, and also the guy on the right, the screamo guy's top with the sort of sapphire blue with the elephant in it. Awesome, freaking awesome. I like that a lot. It's just a mixture I'm not used to hearing. This kind of like very traditional Indian sounding set of instruments mixed in with this kind of like dropout section with like, you know, a synth line that is clearly getting itself ready to really burst into a heavy part, which is awesome. Again, this mashup of styles is great. I think maybe I should just go and check out lots of Bloodywood, actually, because they seem just like a cool entity, full stop. There are so many influences and cultures involved here, from Japan to metal to Indian stuff, like all of it just kind of going together. It's awesome. These choruses are so awesome. I really, really like them. There's so much going on. There's like a kind of, I can't tell if it's a synth line, or it's probably is a couple of synth lines, to be honest, mixed in there with what sounds like some more traditional Indian instruments, kind of like bouncing around, doing some really interesting kind of melodic and sort of arpeggios and stuff, kind of flying up and down in the background. You've got a more sustained backing vocal, which I think is probably Babymetal doing a pre-record. Can't quite tell, or maybe it's one of the girls holding that. I'm not sure. There's so many layers going on here. It's hard to tell what is being done live and what isn't. The vocals from the girls as well becomes really like kind of rich and stacked up. There's just so much going on. I'm really curious as to whether or not we're going to get more from the Bloodywood guys in terms of like, well, the more rappy one, the bull guy. I'm curious to see whether he's going to step up to the plate again or not. Ooh. Big final note. I will say that the guitar riff underneath it does actually remind me a bit of the guitar line from Me to You, the Poppy song as well. The do 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 do. That's kind of interesting how that feels like it's quite similar, but then it's just shrouded in so much other stuff and this other band that it doesn't. It's really not an issue. It's just interesting that I can feel like I can hear that influence in it. Ooh, nice little dropout too. Just that only that guitar line left lingering with the shong as it all drops out. That was really nice. Yeah, I'm left with so many questions as to how much of that is Bloodywood. That me recognizing that kind of like guitar lick and sounding quite tonally similar to the other one makes me think that maybe Babymetal's like in-house band are more responsible for the backing than I expected. I wasn't sure whether or not this is basically a Bloodywood song with the girls singing. I don't think so. It feels more like it's a Babymetal song with the two Bloodywood guys having a verse more than anything else. And obviously lots of like interesting mixing with the other instruments in the background, but I guess maybe the fundamentals are more based around Babymetal than I thought. Either way, I really like that one. I think that one was my favorite of the new songs, and I'm not including Ratatata in that, but definitely over the Slaughter to Prevail one. I like that, and definitely over I don't know. It's hard to tell whether or not I'm going to like that more than From Me to You, because I'm used to From Me to You. I can sing along to that one. I guess we'll have to see on repeated listen, which I will definitely be doing. And I will also definitely be checking out some more Bloodywood, because that stuff's great. I really, really liked the merging of genres there, just within themselves. Just that little like foray into Bloodywood we had before we started listening to the Babymetal song made me really quite intrigued to listen to some more. So in the comments, if you've got some more, if there's some Bloodywood fans out there and you've got some more tracks for me, definitely leave them below, because I would love to check those out. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? This new album is definitely shaping up to be, at the very least, interesting. I'm very curious to hear what the Polyphia one will sound like, because obviously Polyphia are an instrumental band, so they are going to not have any vocal stuff in there. So I would imagine at that point, you basically just let Polyphia write a song and then the girls sing over it. Music video wise on that one, it is what it is. It was a performance video. It would have been nice to have like instrumentalists on stage with them as well, even if it's just for this one show. But I get it. I understand that there's a lot of logistics involved in that, and especially with the amount of collaboration and stuff like that. Backing tracks are going to be required, but I just wish that maybe, you know, a live drama, a live guitarist would have been kind of nice. The dances is great. The girls are very charismatic. The two guys from Bloodywood came across extremely likable. They had really positive energy. I like that they did a lot of just being hype men, but that's cool. It didn't blow anything out of the water, but it was filmed quite nicely. There's lots of fun cuts and panning stuff like that, which is, yeah, it was done well for what it was, which was basically a performance video, which is fine. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Follow me on the socials. That would be excellent. Like, share, subscribe, all of that crazy stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace!